the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real-world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Turn 3 Racing Network, as tonight we're here with OP Racing Premier Series as we are at the Legacy Daytona track. Thank you very much for joining me here tonight. My name is KR Stolfus, and in the booth with me is none other than Dawson Wise. Dawson, how you doing, buddy?
Doing good, KR. Ready to get another round underway. See who's going to be in our Final Four here in a couple weeks.
Absolutely. We got just 2 races to settle out who will be our championship 4. And so with that being said, our drivers, our championship 8 drivers, I should be, Sebastian Marin, Kody Neagles, Anthony English, Zach Fritsch, Zach Workman, Kacey Gilchrist, Peter deBorja. Is that 8? I lost count halfway through.
I think so. Did you get Gabe Butler?
Gabe Butler. I think I missed Butler. Either way, those are our championship 8. They got 2 races to get it in. Qualifying almost done and over with. So we are going to step away for the national anthem. No one go anywhere. We'll be back with tonight's starting lineup.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us here tonight on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Let's get right into our starting lineup for this bumpy road 250 presented by Butt Kicker. On the inside of row number 1 with a quick time of 52.176, our championship contender, the first one to make some noise, Sebastian Marin in the 23. To his outside, a driver who just got eliminated last week and is on a vendetta mission. That is Vicente Guerrero. Row number 2, Les Levy in the 62, and to his outside, that is the 47 of Richard Kuhn. Row 3, the 59 of John Guerrero, all the way from Canada, and to his outside, the 40 of Peter deBorja. Row number 4, the 6 of Kody Neagles, championship contender there, and the 1 of Josh Ball. Jimmy Reynolds and Anthony English, another championship contender in the 44 on the outside of row number 5.
Row number 6, it'll be Bubba Winningham in the 66, and Zach Fritsch, one of our championship 8, in the 12. Zach Workman in the 19 rolls from 13th. The Kacey Gilchrist in 14th. That's an all-playoff row as well. Nate Warren rolls from 15th. Eric Laurie in 16th. Alex Green rolls from 17th to his outside Sean McCara, and rounding out the top 20, Brian Wang and Matt Wagner.
David Overstreet and Richard Sanchez, row number 11, and our final starting spot here tonight, going to the 23, or the 85 of Adam Kilday from Vendetta Motorsports. Let's take a quick look at our race info for tonight in this Bumpy Road 250 presented by Butt Kicker. This is the first race in the round of the Championship 8. There are just 2 races in this round. Our 8 drivers have had their points reset, and as always, there are no cautions for stages. Our stages are at lap 25 and 50, and there is 1 fast repair available to our drivers here tonight. So as they make their way off of turn number 4, Boston, why don't you take it away, bud?
Well, the field will be in the hands of the Dale Cup teammates here, Sebastian Marin and Vicente Guerrero. Marin obviously looking for a good run tonight as he begins his campaign to get to the Championship 4. He has the lead. Green flag is in the air. We're underway for the first race of the round of 8 here at Daytona, and off they go towards turn number 1. They're going to hit the bumps as soon as they get up on the banking. It's going to be tough to maneuver this place, but eventually someone is going to find their way forward. One of those guys, I think, running about 14th right now, it's Kacey Gilchrist. He has won here before. Now we expect to see him at the front here pretty soon.
Side by side, they make their way off of turn number 2. So far, a calm start. Nobody making drastic moves. Everyone staying single file, 2 by 2. Vicente Guerrero has the advantage going into turn number 3.
Yeah, a big surge from the top, and that's all because of Richard Kuhn doing a great job pushing on the back of the 14. It's so hard to push at this racetrack. I think we cover it every single time we come here, just how hard it is to square up with the guy in front of you, just how bumpy this place is. But Richard Kuhn doing an excellent job so far, and he's got that Budweiser machine working well up on the outside. In front of him and Vicente Guerrero, and Peter deBorja starting to make his way forward. Some of our other championship contenders are further back. They're trying to find gaps as well. Off turn number 2, the inside line starts to surge back.
Sebastian Marin in the 23 trying to work that inside line down the back stretch. He is one of the front runners in our Championship 8. Peter deBorja in the 40. Third truck in the outside lane. Right now, as far as the Championship 8 go, they are 1 and 2. But Sebastian Marin has clean air. He comes off at turn number 4, has some momentum. Can he lead this lap? Points are going to be huge because only 2 races in this round. That means 2 drivers can get locked in. The other 2 have to have points.
Oh boy, the third line is at the front. All of a sudden, Zach Workman surges to the race lead here in 1 and 2. The help of Brian Wang in the 0-5. They came out of nowhere. They were 15th last time I had looked, and it just started to get the third line moving. Now their run fades a little bit. Guerrero was able to get back to the lead, and they're going to be stuck up there. Our Workman and Wang. Thought Zach Workman was clear, but did not take it. Opted to stay up there instead in front of Brian Wang. And now, all of a sudden, the field is so split up behind the leaders. Not sure what happened. There's some kind of stack up. Man, it is all kinds of broken up behind about the front 8 trucks here.
I'll tell you what, I think it's all about the pressure of trying to get some points from our championship drivers. They are doing everything they can to push as hard to the front of this field. No matter where they are, we ride on board with Anthony English. He is stuck right square in the middle, and instead of maybe trying to back out and recharging once everything gets too wide, he is going to stay right there in that middle lane.
Yeah, everybody just hanging where they're at right now. The middle is the fastest way around this racetrack. Now English takes a look to the bottom, sees he has a gap, decides to jump out of line, tries to move forward. Guerrero tries to carry the run with him. Let's see if he can get squared up to him. That's going to allow the outside to roll here once again for a moment. Here comes Workman back to the outside of deBorja for now. It's those two trucks that battle for the lead as English tries to get a run back going on the bottom. And meanwhile, they start to shape up behind him. Fritsch, Gilchrist, and others have entered the picture here as lap 5 goes on the board. deBorja drops down. Josh Ball, that was a big moment. He swung between lanes trying to figure out where he was going to go, and that leaves Sebastian Marin all by his lonesome in the middle.
Peter deBorja in the 40 did lead that lap. That is going to be 1 bonus point to him. So these points are going to be huge, and deBorja throwing a block on the 19 of Zach Workman. Fastest lap of this race so far, the 2 of Nate Warren turning a 47.37. We'll see if anyone can top that. We're working lap number 5. That one is done and in the books. Let's start lap number 6.
Yeah, ticking them off pretty quickly here. Conclusion to lap 25, conclusion to lap 50 going to be our stages, and we are approaching about a quarter of the way through our first stage already. Not really much signs of movement other than what Zach Workman and Brian Wang did to get to the front. Man, the field is just so broken up. I noticed it about a lap ago, but figured that they would get, back to this lead draft instead. Vicente Guerrero has started to fall out of the clutches of this lead draft. Actually, now is going to fall to that second group led by what looks to be John Guerra, and that would be in 14th position. So I'm not sure what happened to that second group. Not sure if this is planned. Perhaps as, oh my goodness, we almost had a crash at the front of the field between Peter deBorja and Zach Workman. Luckily, they keep it going as Workman now drops to the bottom, and now deBorja is going to have a chance to lead up on the outside with the help of Sebastian Marin.
Riding on board with the 14 of Vicente Guerrero. They are still within the draft of the front group, but they are not closing in on them as fast as we would expect, as you were talking about. So it could be that, the 14 just wants to hang back here just a moment. I mean, he's got Kody Neagles in the 6 behind him. That's his teammate. So is he just trying to wait for the 6 to get in a more advantageous position?
Possibly, but I think what surprises me the most about it is that Kody Neagles is seeming to just be content to ride. That's not what we're used to seeing, especially when so many of the playoff drivers are right here inside the top, probably 8 trucks, I think. Looking back at it, looks like we've got 3, 4, 5, 6 of our playoff contenders inside the top 10. So for him to be riding that far back behind the other playoff drivers is so odd to me, but I guess perhaps just a plan, maybe banking on something happening here at the front of the field.
I do want to point out that we have a new fast lap all the way into lap number 8, a 47.20 turn by the 510 of Richard Sanchez, and it is very rare to see a fast lap on lap number 8. That just tells me that there are several trucks out there pushing very hard right now.
Oh, it's obvious the pace of this race is intense already. They are not holding back much here early on in the going. It may look like they're content to just ride too wide, but I promise you it is way more intense than it looks for us up here. And even that, it's intense just sitting up here. Some of these pushes these guys are giving have been right on the edge of what works and what doesn't. I'm surprised that we have not yet had any kind of issues. We've actually had some close calls. Zach Workman, by the way, has had a handful of that truck basically the entire first run. You see it right there in turns 3 and 4 as well. That truck is all over the racetrack early. Just shows how hard that truck might be pushing. Exhibit A. These guys don't seem to be pushing very.
Peter's in a tough spot. What does he do here? Points are huge, but man, you don't want to throw a race away here on lap number 10. As a new fast lap, Matt Wagner turning a 47.11. Holy cow, these guys are really getting at Josh Ball sideways.
Yep, trouble. Josh Ball's around there, wrecking further back as well. Vicente Guerrero was involved, and there are others, I think, that are in this as well.
Warren, Richard Sanchez. A lot of trucks involved in this one, and Man, we were just talking about it's only a matter of time, as hard as they were pushing, that somebody somewhere was going to get out of shape.
Well, that's got to be precisely why Kody Neagles was riding as far back as he was, I would think. And actually, he almost ends up getting involved anyway, as Vicente Guerrero, his teammate, gets plowed through at the end of this incident. They was right around Kody Neagles. Luckily for him, he was able to bail to the apron and get away from it, but it almost backfired on him even riding at the back.
Josh Ball in the one sideways. The 14 checked up. He got turned. And Vicente locked it down, the 68, doing that as well. And everyone grabs the gear and gets rolling. And I'm gonna tell you what, there were a lot of smoke, a lot of cars sideways. But I think in the end, very little damage. The one gets turned. Couple trucks into the wall, maybe one a little bit harder than the others. But for where that crash happened and what went down, I think everybody's going to be able to just fix the damage they had without burning a fast repair.
Yeah, all things considered, not that bad an incident right there. It collected some trucks, but we've certainly seen more destructive incidents than that. And I think the other big part of it is I don't think it involved any of the playoff drivers, or at least not in a big way, at least not that I could see. So for once in the past few weeks, we have a crash that does not involve a lot of our championship contenders.
All right, so the first caution flag of the night is on display, and everybody coming down pit road. Sebastian Marin in the 23 stops into his pit box, has that first pit stall. Fuel only for the 23, down and away. He is first one off of pit road. Zach Workman, Zach Fritsch, top three drivers off of pit lane, championship contenders. Our top 10 is filled with our our 7 championship contenders. Gabe Butler not making it out here tonight. So it's the championship 7. And Gabe Butler rolling the dice and hoping he wins next week.
Yeah, unfortunate not to see Gabe in the field tonight, but obviously if you have to ask anybody in our playoff field to win, I think he's one of the guys I think that could get it done. What a tear he's been on in the postseason, so certainly not insurmountable odds for him going into next week.
All right, let's go ahead and take this moment to look at our point standings. We talked about how all the points were reset to 0 amongst our championship 8. So only 4 drivers are going to make it in. There's 2 races in this round for the championship 8. So 2 drivers can make it in on wins. And we're talking the extreme situation here. 2 drivers of our championship 8 can make it in on a race win. The other 2 who make it in have to do it through points. So with that being said, Dawson, you are in the thick of it on Wednesday night. What is your strategy? What do you feel the best call is here?
Well, the easy route, and there really is no easy route, because obviously getting to victory lane is not easy. I've seen that the hard way on Wednesday nights, but it's getting to victory lane. It's the easiest way to lock your way in. You don't have to worry about points next week. You don't have to worry about where the cut line is, who's on the cut line, where those guys are running. You can basically just sit back and start the race and kind of hang it all out, maybe try to win again. But that's the easiest way to do it. And obviously was very, very lucky there at Wednesday night to kind of get through a crash at the end and lock my win. And I'll tell you what, it's a lot more relaxing to go into Wednesday night not having to stress about points. Now, I do have to have some help from my teammates, but just on my standpoint, man, I'm going to be really relaxed, and that's what you're going to see out of one of these guys if they get the job done tonight. They can just kick their feet up, if you will, and come in next week and not really have to worry about anything.
All right, so here we go. Going to restart for the first time. Our first caution bout. Ready to wrap up Sebastian Marin, Zach Workman, Zach Fritsch, Kacey Gilchrist, Anthony English, Kody Neagles, Peter deBorja. Our championship 7 all inside the top 10 broken up by Eric Laurie, Alex Green, and Richard Kuhn. And I'll tell you what, I'm here for the non-championship drivers. Dawson, I know you are a championship driver on Wednesday night, so you probably would be against what I'm going to say, but gosh darn, I want to see a non-championship driver win this race and wreck everyone's plans. I'm here for the chaos.
I'll tell you what, actually, I'm not fully against it, honestly. You know, at the end of a race like last week, when you have championship guys in front of you, you know they could advance in the round of 4. I would have rather someone else had won other than the guys that were in front of me. So, you know, ultimately, if you're a guy like Kody Neagles right now, you'd rather a guy like Richard Kuhn go win this race.
Absolutely. So here we go. Green flag in the air once again. Stage number 1 going to end at the completion of lap 25. And Sebastian Marin, Zach Workman, they're going to lead this field into turn number 1. All 23 cars are still on the lead lap. I have some interesting stats from David Overstreet. Not sure what is going on there. He is on the track, so it just needs a moment to catch up.
Yeah, Workman drops across the nose of Sebastian Marin. And I'll tell you what you're going to see right here. I said the easiest way to get into the Final Four or any round of the playoffs is to win and lock your way in. What you're going to see these guys do, though, in the meantime, as Sebastian Marin gets split, has to drop back in. Oh, my goodness, what a heads-up move by Sebastian Marin. No, back to what I was saying. What you're going to see these guys do is position themselves to get stage points. Regardless of how the race ends, you want to maximize your stage points. So if the easiest route of getting to the Final Four does not present itself to you, you can at least have a good buffer going into next week. That's what you're going to see these guys do. That's what my plan was, obviously, for the past couple of Wednesdays as well. Eric Laurie out of shape off the bumper of Kacey Gilchrist. Good grief, these guys aren't giving me a chance to talk about points up here, KR. They're trying to wreck again.
They are trying to wreck again all the way through this field. Peter deBorja in the 40 shuffled up onto the high side, almost getting into the wall. Now he has Brian effing Wang on his back bumper, and they're on the high side, but they're strung out right now.
Yeah, just a little bit at the fade back in line. They're going to try to come forward here once again. The Bootnaka drivers. There goes Kody Neagles to the outside in front of them. Can they get a 3-truck train going towards the front of the field? This is really the best effort we've seen at the third line. I would not be surprised to see Kacey Gilchrist jump up there, and he does. He goes up in front of the 6. We're going to be 3 wide, multiple rows deep here in just a moment. These guys are really starting to make hay towards the front. They're going to be in the lead here once we get off of turn number 4.
Through turns 3 and 4 here at the high banks of Daytona. Sebastian Marin, Zach Workman, Zach Fritsch, all one car into the wall right in front of the camera. And we are still green. Everyone holding on to it. But the field now is strung out. Peter deBorja in the 40 is our lowest running championship driver right now, and he is regaining his momentum. Jimmy Reynolds just hit pit road.
What a tough break for Peter deBorja. It looked like some kind of miscommunication there coming off turn number 4. Results in the 40 really hammering the outside wall. Now it's going to be interesting to see what the damage is on that 40 machine as he tries to just limp it around. He's going to have a caution, I think, to help him out. And with the field this strung out, it's going to take somebody up here at the front, I think, starting to crash for him to get that caution that he needs. What a tough break.
deBorja and Guerrero, teammates on the pit road right now. Great call, great effort from Vicente to say, hey, I know you're in trouble. I'm going to hit pit road with you. Let's make this pit stop, and you're going to have a buddy to come off a pit road.
Yeah, they are running together tonight. Obviously, that's a heads-up call there from Vicente Guerrero to drop down, at least have someone for the 40 to run with on the late end of this stage run. You know the run to the end of the stage is going to get more intense. We typically will see a caution in the last 5 laps of the stage. If they can pull this off where they can stay on the lead lap, we'll have to see if it does work out for him, but it would be a great call out of those two if indeed a caution does come out here in the next few laps.
Yeah, they can make it to the end of lap 25 for sure. Now that they are working side by side, as we start to see the field come off of turn 2, these two are hitting turn 3. So it is going to be, I think Peter's going to survive, but he did just have to burn his fast repair there. And that is huge because he is already one repair down. He's got 1 foot in the grave.
Yeah, not a great start there to be 1 lap down this early in the race, especially only 20 laps in, and now especially that we don't get a guaranteed caution at the end of the stage. Just a big setback to have that perhaps on other nights of the week, if you will, wouldn't be as big a setback. I know on Wednesday we have a stage break about halfway into the race where if you get caught a lap down early, you can get that lap back. You just have to make it to that stage break. But here on Monday nights, you're not guaranteed that caution. Now, you probably will get it at some point, but you just don't know. So that's a huge setback to have this early in the race.
Yeah, so Peter deBorja in trouble here. But I'll tell you what, with Vicente Guerrero, who came down pit road to support his teammate, good heads-up move, good heads-up call by that team. Things aren't good for those two, but it is better than being all by yourself. So Sebastian Marin, Zach Workman, Zach Fritsch, Anthony English, right now they are your first 4 trucks in this race, and they are battling to try and win this stage. Remember, points are everything. Wins get you in, but points get you in as well, and points are more of a guarantee than a win.
Absolutely they are, and even just having a couple point buffer is going to be a pretty big advantage to these guys that do get some points. We are going to have 2 guys that make it, at least 2 guys that make it on points, potentially 3, heck, maybe even all 4 if it pans out where maybe non-playoff drivers win these races. So points still everything. Anthony English out of shape in a big way.
Somehow the 44 saves it. How about that? He's lost some ground, but his nose is pointed in the right direction. Fastest lap last time around, Brian Wang in the 05, turning a 46.99. Ladies and gentlemen, these guys are flat out getting after it to be turning a fast lap this late into stage number 1.
I can tell you what, number 1, these guys are scrambling here at the front of the field, the 19, the 12, the 23, the 6 mainly. Number 2, if Anthony English makes the championship 4, I think we can look back on that moment right there for one of the reasons why I have no clue how he kept that truck going the right direction. No idea at all.
Field is slowly closing in on Peter deBorja and Vicente Guerrero. They will go a lap down next time around. David Overstreet is 1 lap down. Jimmy Reynolds sitting on pit road. He has been there for the last 5 minutes. Tough break for the driver of the 26. Hopefully he can get back out there. Not sure what happened to David Overstreet to put him 1 lap down. But yeah, it looks like Peter deBorja and Vicente Guerrero will join him. But I'll tell you what, the field gonna have to deal with these 2 trucks in front of them, because these 2 trucks, they're not gonna give any ground right now. They have every right to be out in front, and they are staying where they are. It looks like Eric Glory is gonna join them. That's a good move for Peter deBorja that Eric Glory joined him. Trouble! Oh, and Peter is dead. Oh my goodness. I thought that was going to be much different than what just happened. Peter deBorja had 3 trucks join him on the bottom lane, and then he gets turned.
Yeah, this one started. Looks like maybe just a misjudgment here by, ironically enough, one of the guys that he's running with tonight. Kody Neagles tries to drop down in the middle in front of Alex Green and instead clips the front of the 3. And man, the 40, that's got to be up there for wildest rides of the season. Holy cow, he got all the way upside down in that wreck. I didn't even see that the first time.
Yeah, that was for sure hard to watch because the 40, things were looking good for him to be the first truck. One lap down. He had some support behind him. He had the momentum, everything he needed. And then it just went south. And the sad part is, Peter deBorja this weekend just did a 24-hour stream for the Extra Life on Twitch. Sorry, too much going on right there. He did it for Extra Life on Twitch, and man, he put in a ton of effort this weekend. And now he already burned his one fast repair. Heavy damage like that, that 40, he's not coming off pit road anytime soon.
Yeah, it's, man, this makes a bad night worse, you know, a bad break worse in that incident there on the front stretch. And then this one, man, this one destroyed his truck, and just, it shows just how one little move in the pack can cause such big time chaos. And for deBorja, that's it's going to make his job next week just that much harder.
All right, so I've been told that our stage 1 winner is the 19 of Zach Workman. Let's see if we can't get him pulled up. Dawson, you want to talk to the 19 of Zach Workman?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
All right, well, I absolutely stalling for time as I tried to find him. All right, I got him. You talk to him.
All right, yeah, caught up with our stage winner, Zach Workman. Hey, Zach, it's the boys in the booth. You got a copy?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, I thought it went through the first time.
No, not quite, but I was wondering if it was just on my end. But, well, hey, you get the stage 1 win. That was a chaotic stage, to say the least. You guys were scrambling all over the place. You know, what are you feeling down there as a driver in this field in this early part of the run, just with some of the moves being made, some of the blocks being thrown, some of the pushing being done up front?
It's aggressive up here, but, you know, it's a round of 8. We were all going for Champ 4. So, I don't know. You got to get your elbows up. You know, it's been a lot of fun though. Like, I do like racing hard and clean, and it's been fun with Seabass up here, and Anthony pushed me really well that stage, and my teammate Fritsch, just two of us here, so trying to get the 2 of us in the final 4. But no, it's been balls to the wall. Don't expect any less, but it's been fun. So.
Yeah, it has been fun, and we'll let you get back to work here in a second because I know the lights have just gone out. It was a bit of a chaotic caution. They're trying to watch replays and such, so while we have you for a second, anybody you want to thank or shout out after the stage 1 victory?
I got to thank my parents for everything they've done for me and watching me do this race, my girlfriend for being the amazing mom she is, and Karen for my 2-month-old right now while I'm doing video game stuff. FSR boys, they couldn't make it, but Fritsch is here, so I appreciate him. Let's get him in the final 4. Anthony English for pushing the hell out of me that stage. Probably don't get there without his help. And Seabass up here battling it out. So we'll see if it comes down to 19-23 this stage as well.
All right, well, congrats on that stage 1 victory. We'll let you get back to it here for stage 2. We'll see if we're talking to you a little bit later on.
See you guys.
All right, Zach Workman. And Zach, what team are you on? Just because I'm out of sorts right now.
I am on FSR, Zach Fritsch.
I knew that. I just wanted to make sure.
Double check.
Double check. All right, there we go. I didn't know that. I just was like, hold on, wait a minute. Where was he last week? And by last week, I meant Wednesday. I'm messing up. It's fine. It's whatever. Not gonna save me, Dawson? Just gonna let me drown?
We drown together. So there you go.
All right, here we go. Green flag in the air. Stage number 2 underway. Zach Workman, Sebastian Marin, Anthony English, and Zach Fritsch, our top 4 trucks in this race, head off into turn number 1. One truck that we really did not want to see out of this race, that is the 40 of Peter deBorja. He has hung up the steering wheel. He is out. He is done for tonight.
Yeah, what a tough break. Obviously talked about how tough his job is going to become next week, or maybe even a little bit easier, a little bit more clear for him. The goal is clear. He's going to have to probably get to victory lane next week when we get to our last race, the round of 8, but obviously did not want to see him start the round of 8 like that. These guys up front still battling it out too. Why John Guerra has made his way to the front, Sean McCarra, Matt Wagner as well, and also Bubba Winningham. And if you don't mind, I know we're under green, I would like to just take a second and point out the paint job on Bubba Winningham's truck. That is in honor of one of our friends, one of my teammates in our Sunday night league, a guy named Robert Jordan. And what a cool moment to see him running that paint scheme. Robert's been dealing with some health issues, and Bubba is running one of those paint schemes. I know a bunch of us ran a similar look last night in our Sunday night race. But, man, that's really cool, and it's awesome to see Bubba running up towards the front as well.
Well, the 66 has that truck wound up. He's got a little bit of motivation to do better than he ever has before. And so the 66 now, 4th truck in the outside lane. Oh, things could change very quickly as they all shuffle up right there.
It's the same 4 trucks up front. Man, Marin, Workman, Fritsch, and English have been throwing haymakers at each other the entire first 30 laps of the race. You wouldn't think there was 70 laps to go. These guys are racing so hard, and somehow they're able to keep it completely clean. We've been close a couple times, but they've been able to keep it clean. These 4 are putting on a heck of a show up front right now.
Down the backstretch into turn number 3. The 19 and the 23 side by side. Big wiggle out of the 12. Anthony English in the 44, who has already pulled that truck from the grasp of death. Still running as a front runner. Into turn number 1, Dawson, these guys, they're still mixing it up as if it's the last lap of the race.
That's what I mean. It's really mostly these front 4. Just, it's like the 2 fighters in the boxing match that are just throwing haymaker after haymaker, trying to knock each other out. That's exactly what these guys are doing up at the front of the field, and it's some of the best, putting on a show when they need to most. I mean, it could be looking at a preview of our Championship 4 in a couple weeks here, running at the front right now, and man, these guys are look at this by Sebastian Marin. Blocking Zach Fritsch. You saw Workman doing the same thing earlier when he was leading the race. These guys are doing stuff that you normally wouldn't see until late in the run. Just the intensity of this round is starting to really hit at least these front 4 trucks, if not. We're going to cross though.
Zach Workman sideways in front of the field. Bubba Winningham caught up in it. And a big stack up once again. And I'm not 100% sure Kody Neagles didn't get through that one without a scratch.
We'll have to go back and look. Right now I'm just trying to figure out what in the world started this. Oh man, looks like to me Zach Workman just maybe hits a bump. That's really odd. I don't think I've ever seen a truck react to a bump like that. He just goes straight right in the middle of the corner. And as he comes back down to correct, he's not clear by then. Obviously nothing for Anthony English or Richard Kuhn to do. And man, what a weird crash. I've never seen a truck react to the bump here at Legacy Daytona quite like that.
yeah, it just broke loose on him for sure. And everyone behind him had to react. And, you know, Anthony English in the 44 is he's just there. He's just going, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, there's nothing he can do. If you're him, you're not gonna. Even if you do lift out a little bit there, Workman had lost so much speed going up the hill that I just don't think there was any way for that to work out. That's just one of those tough breaks that you see happen as a guy tries to correct it, and unfortunately for Workman, he goes for a slide. Now, I don't think he got too much damage out of that. I could be wrong, but it didn't look like it to me. But it looked like he was able to get away, for the most part, okay. So he should be able to continue on and not even really have to use a fast repair here.
All right, so our drivers make their way on the pit road. And as these guys come on the pit road, we'll watch them hit their pit stalls. And then we're gonna take a quick break. No one go anywhere just yet. All three of you who are watching, me, Dawson, and Dawson's mom. My mom. No, my mom's not watching. Dawson, does your mom watch?
No.
Oh, so there's two of us watching.
Well,
all right, with that being said, Sebastian Marin wins the race off pit road, and we will be right back after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Turn 3 Racing Network. Zach Fritsch, Sebastian Marin on the front row for this restart. Then it's Richard Kuhn and the 44 of Anthony English in row number 2. Big news so far, the 40 of Peter deBorja, the first driver of our Championship 8 contenders out of this race. He'd burned one fast repair earlier in the race, and most recently caught up in a big time incident. He is done. for the night. He has to rest his hopes on a big win next week. So here we go. Pace truck pulling away. Dawson, you got the call, bud.
Yeah, Sebastian Marin and Zach Fritsch have the field in hand. Still those two on the front row, as has been most of the night. Here we go. Green flag out once again. And it is 15 laps to the end of stage number 2. These guys should have enough gas to make it there. I think it's right about on the number, so we should not see pit stops again until right after our stage break, which means this intensity is going to ramp up even more here at the front as the playoff guys look to get even more points. Looking at a guy like Sebastian Marin, a guy like Zach Fritsch, a guy like Kody Neagles, they've already banked some points here after stage number 1. What a buffer it would be for them if they could bank points in stage 2 as well. And they certainly have been the three best trucks all night, but now some guys looking to spoil the party. Here come Nate Warren and Josh Ball. Looks like David Overstreet as well. He's back on the lead lap. And some other non-playoff guys starting to make their presence felt here at the front.
Off of turn number 4, Sebastian Marin, Zach Fritsch, Anthony English finding themselves in a battle to lead this lap. But Sebastian Marin in the 23 gets it done, and now he has to deal with a truck to his inside. That is the 12 of Zach Fritsch. Richard Kuhn pushing hard on that 12. That 47 entered this playoff season for the first time ever on a Monday night, but Richard Kuhn did get eliminated. Be watching for that 47 to try and get a win, just to show that he's capable of winning a round in the playoffs.
I know after his win earlier in the playoffs in the round of 12, he had said to us he wished that win had come a week before and he'd be able to stay in the playoffs. What a stride he has hit as well late in the season. He's been the best pusher on track in this race so far. He has been so comfortable riding as the second truck in line, able to push basically anyone to the front of the field. And what a night it's been for him early on. You're right. Watch out for him. But here comes Josh Ball. You knew Josh wasn't going to stay away from the front for long. This dude seems to love to spoil the playoff party. He's done it in stages. He's almost done it in races. He almost did it, in fact, last week, if I remember correctly, the last week of the week before, and also the last time we were at this racetrack. He almost won that race as well. So he really loves to be up here mixing it up with the playoff guys trying to spoil the party.
Nate Warren in the number 2, making some bold moves. He went from the high side to the low side through turns 3 and 4. So Nate Warren trying to do everything he can to be out in front for this stage. We need to talk a little bit about the stages, right? So Zach Workman won the first stage here tonight. So we're going to have to add a stage win to this statistic that I'm showing right now. Good grief, big syllables. But that being said, we have had a ton of stage winners in this season. I can't recall the last time we've had this many stage winners, and we still have trouble.
Yep, around goes Anthony English, and this is a massive wreck. There are a ton of trucks involved in this one.
A lot of trucks involved, and it looks like all are starting to pull away. Eric Laurie still stationary, everyone else moving. The 44 of Anthony English slow down pit road. Every time I try to show a stat, every time. All right, let's back this up and look at what happened here to start this one. The 23, the 44, and the 1 of Josh Ball all get together, and around they go.
Man, look at some of the playoff guys involved in this one. English, looks like Zach Workman. He's got some damage on his truck. Kacey Gilchrist is involved. Kody Neagles is involved. So that's right there is half your playoff field. To add to Peter deBorja already being involved in incidents tonight. So, of course, after I said something about the first wreck not taking out many playoff drivers, that's 4 of them right there in that incident that are not as lucky to get away from that one.
No, and the big loser right here in this situation is the 44 of Anthony English. Not only did he take a hard impact into the outside wall, but he has a unsafe entry onto pit road, has to spend some extended time. In fact, it looks like he burned his fast repair. So, tough break for the 44. He is in the same boat as the 40 of Peter deBorja for the moment.
The tough breaks keep on coming for playoff drivers right here, and that, I mean, if you look in the mirror, you're Sebastian Marin or Zach Fritsch. All of a sudden now, every one of your competitors has had an issue except for you. I mean, those are the only two playoff guys left in the field that have yet to have any kind of issue in this race. And granted, we're only 40 laps in, so there's still a long ways to go. But certainly, it makes you feel a little bit better if you're in the 23 or the 12, looking back and seeing the competitors you're up against have issues all happening behind you.
All right, so with that being said, just the final 10 laps here in stage number 2. Zach Fritsch out in front, Richard Kuhn, Nate Warren, Sebastian Marin, and the Italian stallion Vicente Guerrero rounding out your top 5. I gotta tell you, I absolutely love this Legacy Daytona track. It never disappoints me.
I wish I could agree with you. I can't myself. As a broadcaster, absolutely it doesn't disappoint. As a racer, man, I dread this place. I don't know if it's because of the bumps just not being comfortable or what. And I know it's ironic for me to say that when I just won there less than a week ago. But regardless, I dread coming here. I dread going to iRacing Superspeedway as well. So take that for what you will. I dread both of those racetracks.
Absolutely. I understand what you're saying, but for me, before I picked up the microphone and enjoyed iRacing as a driver holding a steering wheel, I loved this track because you had to put your elbows up, and I won so many of the races, so many iRacing awards on this track, and it just worked for me as a driver, and it works for me as a broadcaster.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, and I just still, it's going to take some convincing, I think, for me, and even like I said, with a win there, that did not change my opinion. Even if you might think it did.
Everyone's entitled to their opinion. That's fine. But yeah, no, Craig Dunn, he ain't listening, but he's Australian. He told me I have to say that from time to time. So no, I enjoy this track as a broadcaster. I enjoy this track as a driver because it just makes you have to put the elbows up. It makes you drive the racetrack more so than any other super speedway.
Oh, completely true. This place is more than any other super speedway about you versus the racetrack rather than you versus every other driver. And for that, it can be pretty enjoyable as a driver, but man, when you get around a bunch of other people, it's nerve-wracking and it is difficult. So personally, it's not for me yet, but hey, that doesn't mean the door's closed.
All right, so here we go. Pace truck down and away. Zach Fritsch, Richard Kuhn, Sebastian Marin, Nathan Warren. Here we go. Green flag in the air.
8 laps remaining in stage number 2. We're about 2 or 3 laps short of our window being open for the caution flag to end the stage. So keep that in mind as 43 is on the board. By the time we get to 46, a caution would effectively end stage number 2. So we'll have to see if that comes into play for now. Zach Fritsch, Sebastian Marin actually been paired on the outside line this time. And on the bottom, it's some non-playoff trucks. It's Richard Kuhn, it's Nate Warren, and it's Vicente Guerrero on the bottom. All of a sudden, the non-playoff guys lined up, trying to spoil the party here at the front of the field. Same with Josh Ball, David Overstreet, Bubba Winningham's made his way back to the front as well. The playoff guys up front are surrounded here with 8 laps to go in stage 2.
23 trucks started this race. Right now, 20 of them are on the track. All 20 are on the lead lap as we get ready to wrap up stage number 2. Zach Fritsch out in front, and Sebastian Marin right there on his back bumper. YouTube chat has been pretty quiet so far tonight. A little disappointed in that, especially disappointed to see my personal friend TJ telling me I can't drive. That's personal. It's cutting me deep, man.
That's a deep cut for a YouTube chat. I'll say that much.
It's deep. It's deep, especially considering I've won more races than he has.
That might be an even deeper cut, honestly. Oh man, now he's just been called out. Wow.
Oh. All right, here we go. Zach Fritsch in the 12, out in front. Josh Ball in the 1, right there in the mix. We've seen the 1 involved in, I think, 2 situations here so far this night. And the 12 of Zach Fritsch out in front of Sebastian Marin. 3 championship contenders lined up nose to tail.
Yeah, actually, Anthony English had pushed Kody Neagles to the front of the field, but as soon as they got there, Anthony English dove in line, left Kody out to dry. I'm sure Kody writing that one down in the mental notebook here late in stage number 2. He's going to keep that one filed away for later. Oh my goodness, Kacey Gilchrist just got hammered into the outside wall. Looked like by Vicente Guerrero to me. He's going backwards in a hurry. Here's the 31. He's in big trouble off turn number 2.
Down the back stretch they go. Zach Fritsch, Sebastian Marin, Anthony English, Nate Warren, Josh Ball, and Kody Neagles all in the heart of this battle to try and win a stage to get the most points possible. And all this going down, keep in mind the 40 of Peter deBorja is out of this race. Kacey Gilchrist in the 31, he is towards the back. He is 18th right now. So our points battle really taking very extreme situations.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see Zach Fritsch. He's controlling those lines here up at the front, trying to win the stage, but not for long. Anthony English, a huge surge down the backstretch. Kody Neagles now in prime position there in second. We are inside the 5-lap window where a caution would end stage 2. Keep that in mind. That could come into play here late. Fritsch, another surge to the bottom. It's going to be about 7 trucks, make it 8 trucks here for the stage, I do believe, here with 3 laps to go.
On board with Bubba Winningham, who is leading the second group of trucks. Can he get to the back bumper with some momentum? The time is running out for the 66 to try and win this stage. And I know what you're thinking. Well, he's not in the championship battle. Why does he win a stage? Well, let me tell you why. All he's seeing is red, as the 19 of Zach Workman and the 11 of Matt Wagner pass by the 66.
I think they're out of time. They're over 2 seconds behind the lead draft. You have to be a second and a half behind the lead draft to maintain any kind of drafting help. Now they start to close the gap up a little bit, but I think it's a little bit too late with 2 laps to go. I don't think they can make that time up in time. They continue to lose time to this front group of 8. It's going to be it's going to be between these 8 trucks here to decide this stage.
Just 2 more times around. Here we go once again. Anthony English, Zach Fritsch, Kody Neagles, Sebastian Marin, and Josh Ball. Right now your top 5. Throw in Nate Warren to the inside. and Vicente Guerrero with Richard Kuhn in the 47. These guys all have a shot at winning the stage, but they also could make a move that is wrong and wipe it out for all of them.
Yeah, with 2.5 miles to go in the stage, you're going to see one of those moves now. I don't know if anybody's going to try anything here. I think the guy to watch would obviously be Kody Neagles. He does have a teammate 2 trucks behind in Vicente Guerrero. Now, the question will be, where does Josh Ball go in all this? In the 1, would he go with the Neagles machine? Would he help Anthony English? I don't know. I'm not even sure at this point if Cody's going to take a look. He may just decide to ride in line and run third. That may be plenty for him. Down the back, still 2 by 2. I just don't think anybody's going to really do anything right here.
Here they come through turns 3 and 4 to wrap up stage number 2. Final time for this stage off of turn number 4. Zach Fritsch trying to make that truck as wide as he can, and Zach Fritsch in the 12 is going to win stage number 2, and that is huge for his points tally.
There's a big block off turn number 4. It could have been very costly instead. Results in a little bit of a sigh of relief for the driver of the 12. That's a huge 10 points for him. A big 9 points, I believe, for Anthony English right there. Sebastian Marin, Kody Neagles also getting some stage points there that other playoff drivers will not receive here at the end of stage number 2. In fact, the bigger story out of this, I think, is that this front group continues to put time on that second group of trucks led now by Eric Laurie. It's about 8 trucks here at the front of the pack that are driving away from the rest of the field.
All right, so with this stage ending, Dawson, we have to take a moment and calculate when the next yellow flag will come out, because we need that yellow flag for these guys to hit pit road.
Yeah, that's going to be the big thing, right? I'm sorry, I was watching the time between these two groups pretty intently as it grows up towards 4 seconds, or 5 seconds now.
No, it's
sorry about that. I was kind of listening, but I was also really watching this time just to see if that second group would start to gain anything, and they're
not.
Just not.
Yeah, they're not.
They're just not.
This second group has more trucks and the potential for more energy, and it's just not working out. But when did these guys come down pit road right now?
It's got to be soon. They pit with about 15 to go in the stage, 16 to go, so you got to think it would be pretty quickly here. I think we went back green with 13, 14 to go in stage number 2, so we're getting close to that number for these lead lap trucks, or these lead trucks, excuse me, to come to pit road. I think now they're just going to try to run the tank dry because they know they are putting so much time on that second group. There's not really an incentive to pit yet. Well, I lied. Apparently, here comes Zach Fritsch, Richard Kuhn, and Nate Warren. The other 5 going to stay on the racetrack and see how much time they can continue to gain on that second group.
All right, so Nate Warren, Zach Fritsch, Richard Kuhn on the pit road. Sebastian Marin, Josh Ball, Anthony English, Kody Neagles, they stay out. And I'll tell you, each and every time a driver or multiple drivers peel off for pit road, that affects your speed, that it affects the energy you can make. And here you can see these front runners are trying to recover. They got single file as fast as they could.
They're still losing time. They've bled about 0.6 of a second. I imagine they'll be coming to pit road here as soon as they can, unless they can get lined up and start to drive forward once again. That's what they've done. They're still losing time. Now they've kind of slowed the bleeding a little bit, and now they even the time out. Let's see if they can get it back going. That second group picked up about 0.6 of a second on that last lap. Now, though, the time has plateaued, and now they start to lose time once again. So this first group has started to roll again. Even just this 4.5 seconds is going to make such a huge difference on pit road when these 5 trucks decide to make a pit stop. It's going to put you that much further ahead on an extra on the end of the cycle. It means so much to be this far in front. They are picking up time once again. It's getting up close to 5 seconds. Let's see if they pit here off turn number 4.
Keep in mind, Nate Warren, Richard Kuhn, Zach Fritsch, how does this work into their strategy? Because they were the drivers who hit pit road first. So how does this work out? We have so much going on right now. I'm rubbing my hands because I'm excited. This has been this race has been an absolutely strategy race from start to from the start of the green flag to where we are now. We're not at the finish, so I'll spit it out sooner or later, but every single moment of this race so far has been absolutely intense and intimidating for me.
Well, absolutely, you're right. And as we get further into it, it develops. I think you're going to see that just increase even more as strategy becomes the primary factor in this race. I can tell you, the way this race started, I did not think for a moment we'd be in a fuel strategy race here on lap 57. I thought it was going to be a bunch of short runs, maybe 10 lap runs. You weren't getting quite to a pit stop, as the leaders are going to lap the 12 of Zach Fritsch. This is a big development. He has lost his 2 partners he came to pit road with, and they not put him a lap down here on lap 57. But I just did not think this was going to be this kind of race, and all of a sudden it is here with 44 laps to go.
Yeah, Zach Fritsch has gone a lap down. Good news for him. He is the first truck 1 lap down. He is following behind the lead group. These guys will have to hit pit road. And so when all of that happens, if the yellow flag comes out and he is not involved in the caution, he'll get the free pass. He'll get back on the lead lap. When these drivers hit pit road, he will get back on the lead lap. The only bad news is, from the time that he was by himself till now, he lost a few seconds of speed, and so that could be a deciding factor. But Sebastian Marin, as our race leader, last time he was on pit road was lap 40, so we're looking at 1 or 2 more laps before he has to come down pit lane.
Another group coming right here: Kacey Gilchrist, Alex Green, David Overstreet, Zach Workman, Les Levy, John Guerra, Bubba Winningham hit pit road. So the second group now is left with only Richard Sanchez, Eric Laurie, Adam Kilday, and Matt Wagner. That's what's left of that second group. And now that's going to allow the first group to really put some time on the remaining trucks on the racetrack, as they are 6 trucks deep and 5 are about to come to pit road. I would think this time they've really stretched it further than even I thought that they could go on a single tank. So we'll see, but I imagine they'll be on pit road right here.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. All of them are going to hit pit road except for Zach Fritsch. He will get his lap back, and he is back on the lead lap with that move. But once again, he is all by himself. So Zach Fritsch in a world of hurt right now. And a caution flag is what the 12 needs. So Sebastian Marin on pit road. Kacey Gilchrist in the 31 has a shot at taking over the race lead, but the 3 of Alex Green is the only truck behind him. Here comes several other trucks. This all could go wrong very quickly for the 31.
Yeah, I don't even think it's going to be close. Gilchrist just now hitting the start-finish line. They've got a group with them now. They're into turn 1. Neagles, English, Ball, Guerrero, Marin are off turn 2 onto the back straightaway. I don't think that this second group is going to get close enough. They will pick up Adam Kilday, I believe, as he comes off the pit road. But you can see up in the distance, that first group is gone. Marin, Guerrero, Ball, English, Neagles, excellent execution. And all of a sudden, they are together in 3 and 4, and now they start to set sail once again.
We're on board with Kody Neagles in the 6, and he has the race lead, and he has some trucks behind him to generate some momentum. some energy, everything that you need to win this race. And we're now into our final stage, and it comes down to who you have working with you, because right now, as wild as everything has been, we have gone through a green flag pit stop cycle, and that is the best way to spread this field out.
Absolutely it is. This group of 5 has put about 5.3 seconds on our second group, led now by Les Levy in the 62. Now, I will say they had started to pull that gap back a little. We'll see if they can continue to do so. Obviously, just having more trucks in line is going to allow them to do that. We'll see what they can pull the gap down to. It's 5.4 seconds right now. Still, I believe, two pit stops to make, at least based on the window that I'm aware of. They still are going to have to stop twice, so we'll have to, let's see who decides to do what here, who decides to maybe come to pit road early and short pit the run perhaps, and try to, turn over the track position, who decides to run it long. That's what makes strategy races so fun and interesting, and what makes me love them so much. And yeah, I gotta be honest, I'm kind of glad it panned out this way, honestly.
All right, with all of that being said, give me just a moment. Hold on. I don't know where hold on. Trying to do something here. Bear with me. I think I got him. Zach, you got your ears on, bud?
Yeah, I got my ears on, KR. How's it going?
What's going on, Zach?
I'm by myself in this lonesome track, staring at nothing except a nice yellow line. And yeah, I mean, that's it. You can see it. Little miscommunication between me and my crew chief. I'm telling him, hey, I only need laps, and he took all 4 during that pit cycle. I don't know why, but he did. So it looks like I'm gonna have to fire him after this race.
Oh.
Yep.
You're firing me as your crew chief?
I mean, are you the one who made me take 4 tires?
Yes.
Well then, yes, I'm firing you.
All right, Zach. Well, right now you're all by yourself. Tell us a little bit about this race, because the intensity level that we have seen up here so far has been through the roof.
Oh, it's been great. I've been having a lot of fun, especially me and my only teammate, Zach Workman, FSR sweep with the stage 1 and stage 2. That was pretty nice. We liked it. Fortunately, Workman got caught up in that wreck there in the middle of stage 2, so we were able to bounce back and get the stage. And but yeah, overall this race, man, it's definitely been intense. The slashing and dashing up in the front and everything, it's been nice, fun. I wish I'd be up there for it, but like I said, I want to stay out, get that track position. Was able to get that chance to get that stage 2 win, which I did. And then I only pitted with 2 other trucks that stayed out with me for that track position for that stage. And unfortunately, they took lefts, and once again, my crew chief, took 4. I don't know why, but so now we're back here lonesome. But yeah, like I said, the race has been intense. It's been fun, super fun.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much for telling me as a stage winner that you were ready for an interview, because if you didn't do that, I would not have known.
Exactly. I figured you wouldn't have. Especially who knew, or who knows when the next caution is going to be, so.
Yep. All right, so our stage 2 winner, that is Zach Fritsch in the 12, a driver from Fuel Sim Racing. And Zach, thank you very much, man.
Yep, appreciate it, KR, and hope all you fans out there watching the race are having fun and cheering on your favorite driver.
All right. That was the 12 of Zach Fritsch. He's not my favorite driver. I mean, he might be yours and everyone who's watching, but he's not mine. No, not mine. I like him, though. I like him. He's just not my favorite driver. Dawson, save me.
There's not much I can do for that one. I don't know. You took the shovel yourself and started digging there, KR.
I'm going to dig a little deeper. He's not my favorite driver.
There's not too much saving I can do. Other
he's
than
got
just
Budweiser on the card.
The only saving I can do is just talking about the gap between these two packs, and it had gotten all the way down close to about 5 seconds, and they had stretched it back out to 5.7. Now it starts to close up again, but it's been solid right around 5.5 seconds. And with one more pit stop to make, that group really needs to get on it now before that run ends. If this gap stays at 5.5 seconds, it was actually less than that before the pit stop. If that happens again and they lose more time on the pit stop, I mean, their chances of winning this race are done. They need to go get it done now. They need to get up on the wheel here and get some ground, and they're just not really able to pull very much.
We ride on board with the 62 of Les Levy. You can see the gap from the 62 to our front pack as Levy rides the bumps through 3 and 4. And our lead group now goes through the tri-oval. I'll tell you what, Les Levy and the drivers of Checkered Flag Motorsports, they always have a little bit of a way of making themselves a nuisance in the final few laps, final few races of the season. I wouldn't count them out just yet.
No, you can't count them out. Obviously, still a long way to go. Still no guarantees that this race even goes green to the checkered flag. And I think that chance increases a little bit if we do get to our last pit stop, which should be maybe our second to last pit stop. So these guys will probably be hitting pit road around lap, I would say 76, 77 at the latest. So probably 2 pit stops to make here late in the going. But if it gets to another
yellow flag out.
Say that, there's the caution flag. So scrap all of that, as we're gonna bunch them right back up.
Looks like issues for the 510 of Richard Sanchez. Let's see what happened here. Bubba Winningham, Sanchez make contact. Oh, Nate Warren gets involved in the 2. Sean McCarra in the 71 gets a piece of it. Take another look here and see, this was from the second group. And there you have it. Nate Warren, Bubba Winningham. Hard contact into the outside wall. And the yellow flag is out here on lap 71 of 100. Kevin, good to see you in YouTube chat. Kevin Neagles cheering for Kody, Marin, and the Italian stallion Vicente Guerrero. So Dawson, with all of that being said, this caution flag comes out at a unique time.
Oh yeah, it absolutely does. It comes out at a point where you are you're going to pit here, but you still will have a pit stop to make still. Yeah, you can come pit now, but we're still somewhat in the same boat we were just in before that caution flag came out. Obviously, now you may see a little bit of a different makeup of the groups that come to pit road, but ultimately the strategy is still the same. You still have one pit stop left to make, and I imagine you're going to see 2 distinct strategies here once we go back green. You're going to see the group that pits when the window opens around lap 84, and then you're going to see the group that runs this tank out of gas, and that would be around lap 89, 90, 91, somewhere in there, and tries to have a bit of a shorter pit stop.
Kody Neagles, Anthony English, Sebastian Marin, all these guys off of pit road. Neagles in the 6. We saw him in early troubles in this race, and here he is now leading this charge off of pit road. 3 trucks are out of the race right now. Jimmy Reynolds, Peter deBorja, and Brian Wang. Those 3 trucks out of the race. Sean McCarra, Eric Laurie scored in 20th and 19th as I called them out. Both of them on the track trying to make up some time. They're in trouble here. They have a shot to get back on the lead lap with another caution, but they have some work to do. Zach Fritsch right now in the 12. He is our second lowest championship driver. Peter deBorja, of course, out of this race, has been since lap 24. Zach Fritsch now in trouble as he is the last championship contender to continue running. But keep in mind, Gabe Butler did not show up for this race here at all. So these guys all have a lot going on right now with what's going to happen next week.
Oh yeah, you're thinking about a lot now. You're thinking about the ramifications, perhaps, of what it means for next week. Man, if you're a guy like Kody Neagles, Anthony English, or Sebastian Marin that was in that lead draft, yeah, only one of those guys is going to go to victory lane. Heck, it may have been none of them. They did have Josh Ball in that group as well. But man, you know, if that race had gotten to the final pit stop and it just had stayed green and you went without mistakes, you probably, one of you was going to be racing for a championship in 2 weeks, and perhaps the other two would have had a huge points buffer. And there's 2 sides to every caution. There's the side of the guys that really like to see it, and it helps them get back in the race. But man, for the front group, that's a moment you wish you could probably, you wish it would have gone differently.
All right, right now our top 6 drivers, 4 of them are our championship contenders. Anthony English, Kody Neagles on the front row for this restart. Then it's Sebastian Marin and the 19 of Zach Workman. John Guerrero, Josh Ball for row number 3. Here we go. We're going to fire them off. And I'll tell you what, I want to be one of these drivers who are in the top 3 rows for this restart. My job is a little bit easier here with this final few laps to be at the front than, let's say, Kacey Gilchrist, who finds himself in the mid-pack.
Got some work to do here with 27 laps to go to the driver of the 31. Regardless of that work, you still have to make a pit stop. Green flag is back in the air. 27 laps to go here from Daytona. You know that pit stop's coming. Now the question is, when do you make it, and how well can you execute? Perhaps that could be the difference between racing for a championship in 2 weeks and having to go into next week a little more uncertain. We're going to see here the next, probably 15 laps or so, who's going to do what kind of friends you've made here during the race that are going to pit with you, and how that last pit stop is going to go. It looms on the horizon here if this race stays green.
There is a lot to digest here as we work lap 74 of 100, and I am trying to figure out how we deal with 17 trucks on the lead lap, 26 laps to go. Zach Fritsch 1 lap down, Peter deBorja out of this race. Those were our drivers who came into tonight's race. Remember, when the green flag dropped, everyone was at 0. Zach Fritsch 1 lap down, Peter deBorja out of the race. Oh my goodness, Kacey Gilchrist, Sebastian Marin, Zach Workman, Kody Neagles, Anthony English, all these guys battling it out, and Gabe Butler isn't even here to take advantage of anything.
I mean, the 5 guys that are still on the lead lap, still racing for this, obviously, you know, they appreciate the fact that now they're only really racing for other guys for that potential Final 4 spot, at least as they run on the racetrack right now. They know the opportunity is at hand here, not only to win the race. Winning the race is one thing, just the fact that they can finish up front. I mean, we have 4 of the 5 contenders right here in the top 4 on the racetrack, so even beyond just the victory to lock in, there's the possibility of a massive points night in terms of pulling ahead of those 3 drivers that have experienced some misfortune behind them. So we'll see how it turns out. But with 4 of these guys running in the top 4 right now, there's a potential for a huge, huge, huge points buffer here by the time we get to the end of this race.
Anthony English in the 44 leads that lap. Kody Neagles on the outside, challenging very hard to try and make a statement that says, you know what? I've been the driver who has had the most points all season long, and I'm still here to make something happen.
Well, he's been the most driver with the most points all season long, but he's also one of the 4 guys left in the playoffs that does not have a victory. And he knew coming into this week how big a victory would be for his own momentum and just to kind of get the pressure off. There's pressure on a driver, running in the playoffs, especially by this point in the season. If you don't have a win, there's so much pressure on your shoulders to get a victory that once you get that victory, it's like a weight lifted off of you. And Kody hasn't had that opportunity yet. He's had chances. He finished 3rd in last week's race and got awfully close to that victory. But man, he would love to capitalize tonight. Get that 1 in the win column. And be able to get that pressure off. And there's other guys that have that as well. Zach Fritsch, Peter deBorja, Gabe Butler also don't have a win this season. So they are feeling the pressure as well to get to victory lane, and just for their momentum's sake.
All right, so with that being said, Neagles in the 6 has an opportunity to pull off something that has never been done before here in OP Racing. He could win the championship without trouble. The 19 around. Zach Workman in the 19 goes sideways. And he is stalled in the grass. Dawson, holy cow, this just changed everything.
Well, it changed everything on multiple fronts. Number 1, Zach Workman goes from 3rd on the racetrack to, I have him scored 16th now, and still continuing. I don't know if he's still sitting in the grass. I'm not looking at him currently, but man, what a tough break. He got tunnel vision, I think, a little bit, and I have seen this so much in this new draft model for the trucks. When you're following a guy so closely, you get tunnel vision sometimes when they pull down the racetrack, as Neagles and Marin did right there. You follow them down. It's not intentional. It's just something where you're just following the back bumper of the guy in front of you, and you're so close to them that it's like tunnel vision. You're just looking at that guy's bumper. You don't quite see where you're on the racetrack, and that's exactly what happened to Zach Workman right there. Drives across the nose of Anthony English, and around he goes, and I think he gets hit by the Alex Green machine at some point in that as well.
We're going to take another look at it. Kody Neagles, Zach Workman, nose to tail right here. Off of turn number 4, contact. They start snaking. Oh. I don't want to place blame, but what I just saw, Zach Workman in the 19, maybe had a bad decision.
That's why I said tunnel vision. It's happened to me. I've done the same thing that he just did multiple times. It's not something you realize you're doing until it's already happened, where you follow the guy in front of you straight down the racetrack and you are not clear. And unfortunately for Workman, that puts a serious hamper on what was going to be a great night for him, as he ends up deep in the field after that one. And even Anthony English lost spots as well. They're both going to be buried pretty low in the field. Well, I lied. Anthony English comes off pit road third, but it does dampen the hopes for Zach Workman on a night where I thought he was going to have a pretty good look at this one. So it's a tough break for the 19.
All right, you talked about dampening hopes, but someone who is happy that this just happened, that is the 12 with Zach Fritsch.
Yeah, it brings him back into the race. I mean, it puts him back on the lead lap, I believe, and that's the miracle he needed. We heard him saying he was just kind of hoping for something to go his way. He gets it to go his way this time. He's able to stay on the racetrack, get back on the lead lap, and now we'll have a look at it. He's going to have a chance. That's all you really need here late in the going at Daytona, is an opportunity, and that's exactly what the 12 is going to have. So we've gone back from 5 drivers in the playoffs being involved in this one to 6. Here's Fritsch is back on the lead lap.
All right, with that being said, let's roll through what has gone on here tonight. Jimmy Reynolds, the first truck out of the race. He is scored in 23rd spot. Peter deBorja, we saw him go through 2 extreme situations that has burned him out as far as a fast repair and getting back out there. Peter deBorja, our first championship contender out of the race. Brian Wang, he finds himself behind the wall in the 05. He is out of the race from lap 26. And now Eric Laurie, Sean McCara, they are working their way on the pit road and trying to settle these things out. But the big news right now is the 40 of Peter deBorja being out of the race.
It continues to bite him, especially watching these playoff drivers run at the front of the field. I mean, man, I would just, it's a horrible feeling, I think, when you go out of the race that early and then you tune in maybe, or you stick around and watch and you see the playoff drivers running at the front of the field, gathering stage points eventually, and it's so tough to watch if you're a driver that had a tough break in the race. But for deBorja, it's not over. This is not it. He's got another week to come back, reset, act like this week did not happen, and get it going again. I have no doubt we're going to see him at the front, as much as we're going to see his teammate Gabe Butler at the front as well. Those are drivers, they're going to be on another level of intensity when we get into next week.
But the problem is, you said it right there, teammates. How do they handle Gabe Butler, Peter deBorja being out of this race right now, here tonight, because they are in a win situation?
You have to just reset as a driver. You can't dwell on it. You just have to say, all right, well, my job next week is easy. I mean, you know, it's very clear that there's not going to be points involved. You just have to go out and get the job done. It's all it is. You just have to mentally reset and be ready to go next week.
All right, here we go. Pace truck down to the infield. Green flag is out. Josh Ball, Nate Warren, and here comes Sebastian Marin with a big run. He slams into the back bumper of the one of Josh Ball, and oh my goodness, Nate Warren left high and dry.
Well, he was left high and dry just by virtue of the fact that everyone else had come to pit road with 1 lap to go there before the green flag to try to have enough fuel to make it. The only guy not to pit a second time was Josh Ball. So Ball, he had the truck off most of that last lap of caution, trying to save enough to be able to make it to the end of the race. The rest of the field decided, you know, it wasn't worth the risk. They wanted to come down top off on fuel, and now Josh Ball is going to be the one hung high and dry. Here come the Dale Cup teammates to the top. English gives Ball a shot on the bottom. Let's see if they can get anything going. Guerra Overstreet out of shape further back. Sebastian Marin in the lead with 17 laps to go.
Sebastian Marin in the 23 has the advantage for the moment among our championship 8, but Josh Ball in the 1 says, hold on, I want to win a race just to upset everyone who is in the playoffs.
Oh, and Anthony English wants that too. He does not want to see the 23 or the 6 go to victory lane here. He knows it makes his job just that much harder going into next week. He would much rather the 1 of Josh Ball win this race from the bottom of the racetrack. Obviously, those 2 up top, their teammates, they're just trying to get one of those 2 trucks in victory lane here and get them into the Final Four. Man, Anthony is pushing so hard on the bottom. You can see how hard he's working. Richard Sanchez working hard as well. Top side, here comes Kacey Gilchrist, Zach Fritsch, and Zach Workman. They have come to the party with 16 laps to go.
Gilchrist, who just got eliminated from the championship contention, if he can pull off the race win, talk about Gilchrist did not get eliminated. That's on me. I looked at the wrong sheet. If Gilchrist can win this, holy cow. We haven't talked about him a whole lot here tonight.
Which is kind of surprising. Trouble. Around goes Zach Workman. Oh my goodness. How did Zach Workman keep that truck going the right way? I think Richard... but Zach Workman, the bigger story there is he somehow keeps that truck straight.
All right, give me just a moment here because there was a lot going on. I have to back this up quite a bit here. Dawson, if you can give me a clue here.
I will say it looked to me just like a stack up between the 47 and the 19. Just looked like maybe a miscue as they tried to switch lanes, perhaps. Just kind of one of those deals where they're going for the same piece of real estate again. I didn't get a great look at it, but that's what it looked like to me. Certainly, it's just they came together, and it was just one of those unfortunate deals. But I'm going to keep an eye on the front while you try to back it up and give a secure answer on that. But that's what it looked like, at least from my perspective.
Yeah. I just caught the 47 sideways there. And then I think I just went too far. There was not a clear defining incident in this situation. My timing and scoring has failed me in this situation because I am trying very hard to look at where things went wrong, and it is just not there.
I'm not really getting a great indication of it either. I mean, I've tried as well, and I can't even... I saw it happen, but there's not really much that I saw that I could really, other than just, it's kind of one of those deals in racing where you go to the same spot and they came together and Richard Kuhn got the bad end of it. Zach Workman was able to keep on going. He actually has maintained the front draft. Whereas Richard Kuhn, I'm not sure he fell to 16th. He is well off the pace at this point. So I think we can chalk it up to one of those tough tough breaks for Richard Kuhn, and obviously almost a huge moment for Zach Workman.
All right, so as the race continues on, we now have 11 laps to go as they cross the line for this bumpy road 250. Josh Ball, Anthony English, side by side as they head off into turn number 1. Richard Sanchez, Sebastian Marin, they're running in the second row of this group. Man, I'll tell you what, if you are a championship contender, how do you play this out? Because you have several trucks around you who are not in this battle for a championship crown, and you have to deal with what you can.
Yeah, you're right on one hand, but also you do have the 6 championship contenders that are still in the race that are all within the top 8 trucks, I guess, here at the front of the field. So on one hand, yeah, you've got Josh Ball, you've got Richard Sanchez, and you've got John Guerra, Alex Green as well to deal with. But then you've also got all 6 of those championship competitors right here in the lead draft that are going to settle this here in the next 10 laps. So I don't know how you go about this. It's gonna ultimately come down to which of the non-playoff drivers choose to support which of the championship competitors. Who do you go with if you're a non-playoff driver here? Allegiances are going to be tested here late in the going, I think.
Right now, the 44 of Anthony English leads this race. Anthony English got into playoff contention because Logan Helton stepped aside and said, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it. The next driver in line needs to have my spot, and that was the 44 of Anthony English, and that is why Anthony English is running all of the paint schemes of the 44, and here he is trying to battle into the championship 4. That 44 is carrying a lot of pressure, and he might be able to pull it off here with 9 laps to go.
Man, what a playoff run that would be, right? From not even going to be in the playoffs to potentially racing for a championship in 2 weeks. That'd be one of the more wild things I've seen out of a playoff run, at least in my time of doing this. So we'll see if he can get the job done. Obviously, Anthony is no slouch to getting to victory lane, no slouch to running up at the front of the field. So it would not surprise me if he gets the job done. But man, just how improbable the playoff run has been. And what a moment it would be for him. But he's got some tough competition here in both lines. How about that out of Kody Neagles? He drops to the bottom, and now it's Dale Cup all across the front row here with 8 laps to go.
Kody Neagles in the 6th. Now he has to make that truck very wide. Anthony English in the 44 says, I see what you're doing. I'm going to take advantage of the bottom line. You are not going to block me.
Yeah, but now Kody Neagles is in the catbird seat. He goes down and up, gets up in front of his teammate, Sebastian Marin, and now he's in the best spot. And man, all of a sudden it is panned out for Kody Neagles. Now they are going to have a challenge from the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes the bottom line. Anthony English, Josh Ball, Richard Sanchez trying to make some ground up. But then you have the unknowns. Where does Kacey Gilchrist decide to go? You know, he's probably not going to run where he is right now. I certainly wouldn't be satisfied if I were him. Where does Zach Fritsch go? Does Fritsch go with the 31? Where does he decide to shake out in all this? So much still to be decided. You can feel the tension starting to build as we figure out who's going to go where, who's going to make the right move, and really who's going to make the wrong one late in this race.
I'll tell you what, Kody Neagles in the 6th, Sebastian Marin and Anthony English, these guys all have it laid out right now. 6 laps to go. Not only that, but man, they are gambling on that we do not have multiple attempts at a green-white checkered. They are stretching their fuel. This thing is going to be down to the wire.
I mean, these guys are hoping at this point that at least the next 5 laps go green and we get back to the white flag without any kind of issues. They are so close on fuel that really any attempt at a green-white checkered is not going to be beneficial to them. So they are just hoping this stays green. They can settle this one right here, right now. And with 5 laps to go, we only need 4 more trips around this 2.5-mile speedway to make that happen. And the field still 2x2. I don't know how much longer that's going to last. I just don't think Kacey Gilchrist and Zach Fritsch are going to be satisfied to run where they're at. I wouldn't if I was a driver, and I don't expect them to be either. So we'll see. Notably as well, this lead draft is about to gain another truck in the form of Vicente Guerrero. If he can find a way back to the front, he could be of assistance to his 2 teammates running at the front right now.
All right, with all of that being said, let's do some housekeeping right now. Jimmy Reynolds, Peter deBorja, Brian Wang out of this race for sure. Bubba Winningham, last time he was on the track was 7 minutes and 18 seconds ago. Nate Warren recently has gone behind the wall on lap 88. Eric Laurie, he finds himself in 18th spot, running lap 92 for himself. Our race leader, Anthony English, is working lap 97. We have 4 laps to go in this race. The 44 has some challenge from the 6 to his outside line. 14 trucks are currently on the lead lap. The 14 of Vicente Guerrero is the first truck 1 lap down, and he is teammates to the 6 of Kody Neagles.
I mean, it's been laid out. The stage is set. Who's going to make the first move? Who's going to jump out of line? The temps are starting to become an issue as well for the 2 pushers, Josh Ball and Sebastian Marin. Looks like Marin's got enough here to push Kody Neagles for a moment. Josh Ball has been working hard on the back bumper of the 44 of Anthony English. Who's going to have the better support here late in the going? For now, it's English on the bottom with the better support, but not for long. Here comes the top once again. Dead heat down the back stretch. Really can't distinguish who's leading the race at the end of the back straightaway. Now English pulls the nose out front. Look at how low these 2 trucks in the middle are getting. Neagles and Marin side drafting for other pit stops with 3 laps to go. This is not what I expected.
Josh Ball, Zach Workman, Matt Wagner, Alex Green on the pit road. Green flag pit stops. Now with 2 laps to go, all they have to do is go 2.5 miles, get the white flag, and this race will go the distance.
Well, the question now is, do the leaders have enough fuel? I know Josh Ball didn't have enough just based on the fact he did not pit under 1 to go on the last caution. The question now, do Kody Neagles and Anthony English and Sebastian Marin and the rest of this group have enough to make it home? I feel like if they were going to pit, they would have made their way to the bottom. They may just be banking on having enough fuel. It's going to come down to who has the better push. As they come off turn number 4, I believe we are looking at the trucks that are going to do it out. It's going to be an all-playoff front row looking for a spot in the final 4.
With as wild as this race started to be, the pressure, the intensity, all of that happening, we get the white flag. We will not go into extra laps. Anthony English, Kody Neagles, who's going to win this race? Don't count out anyone behind them just yet.
Rich is going to look 3 wide. It's just not going to do much for him except stall the middle. Where does John Guerra go? He has to stay middle with Kody Neagles. That's going to help the 6. English is going to pull ahead. Now it's going to be the question of, does English decide to block here off turn number 4? If he does, Kody Neagles is going to make this truck wide. Marin hooks to the back of his teammate. Here they come off turn 4. It's going to be a drag race.
Off of turn number 4, Kody Neagles has the advantage for the moment. Anthony English with the shot on contact, and Kody Neagles is going to win the race. But with the contact there, how will that be ruled in the post-race? Sebastian Marin ends up in 3rd.
Unreal. I mean, what a finish this race deserved. And what a time for the first win of the season for the 6 truck. And if that stands, which I imagine it will, look like just possibly some contact there from his teammate trying to shove him forward to the line. Kody Neagles is the first driver to lock into the Championship 4. What better time to go to victory lane for the driver of the 6?
Let's take another look at it. the 6 of Kody Neagles, the 44 of Anthony English, and you can see the 6 looks like he had some help to get turned. He had the advantage going into the tri-oval and held on to it through the checkered flag. I'm with you. I think this stands, but keep in mind, we are just the ones talking about it. We are not everyone. We are not the be all end all. And I think the 6 is out of fuel. There will be no burnout celebrations for the 6 of Kody Neagles.
The leaders run out of gas right after the line, and all the way to the tribal, I didn't really know who was going to get the better push. You could see him start to pull ahead, but English got a shot late in the race. Man, I think if they stay straight, I almost wonder if Anthony English doesn't win the race right there. He still gets second. In fact, I'll tell you what, he almost won the race in the grass. Either way, oh man, what a finish, and what a tough break for Anthony English. But man, what a win that is for Kody right there, his first of the season.
All right, all of that aside, let's go ahead and pull up our race winner and kick off our post-race show here tonight. Kody, you got your ears on, bud?
Yes, sir.
Dawson, Kody, you guys take it away.
Man, Kody, I'll tell you what, I know how much you've been wanting this win. I know how much you've been working for it. It can't possibly come at a better time. First off, we just want to know how you're feeling. I mean, this has got to be a huge weight off your shoulders.
Oh my God, absolutely it is, man. It's been like I feel like everything was culminating to potentially locking myself in the Final Four. So that the whole last run kind of sucked, but because it come down to fuel saving, and I sputtered in the tri-oval, and Seabass had a little more fuel than me, so he just pushed through me to get me to the line. And I'm sorry to Anthony for making contact with him, but at least he got second out of it. That was a good win, and to get me on the right track in the season, because I don't know, the race was starting to look a little rough for me. I didn't know, a lot of the playoff guys were getting good stage points. It was making me nervous, and I felt like I kind of needed the win.
Well, you get the victory and you get the job done. And man, just, what does this do for you as a driver? I know, for me on Wednesday night, it took a lot of pressure off my shoulders, allows me to relax going into this week's race. So just kind of take us through what it does for you and your mindset going forward here into next week, just to get that weight off your shoulders, get that over with, and know you'll be racing for a championship in 2 weeks.
I think it gives me the confidence in knowing that I can get it done, because I hadn't got a win this season. I got a couple last season, and it got me off the schneid this season, and shows that I can get it done, and it shows that I belong in the Final Four. But at the same time, I feel like I do have something to prove from 2 seasons ago, and you and I have spent hours in Discord talking about it, about kind of where my story in OP is right now, and it's time for me to cash in on one of these Final Four appearances.
Well, you get the job done tonight. You're going to be in the Final Four here in 2 weeks with a victory tonight here in the first race of the round of 8. So while we got you for a minute, anybody you want to thank or shout out for that victory?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys up in the booth, both KR and Dawson. Fantastic job calling these races all season long. And hopefully I get to see you on the track next season, Dawson, on Monday nights. I want to thank all the OP admins for what they do behind the scenes, and big shout out to Seabass and everyone at Dale Cup for making this season possible, and hopefully this puts us one step closer to bringing the trophy home to Dale Cup.
All right, well, that victory tonight certainly gives you an opportunity. You will be racing in our final race for a championship here in 2 weeks with your victory tonight. Congratulations. Go enjoy it with your teammates, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.
All right, that is the driver of the 6, Kody Neagles. Nice job, man. Congratulations on being our first driver officially locked in. But now let's move on to the driver who finished in second place here tonight, and that is the driver in the 44 of Anthony English, who has absolutely been riding a wave of determination. Anthony, tell me a little bit about this race here tonight.
Oh man, Kara. Well, I'll tell you first off, this Numbers by Joe, Roasted Gems Coffee, Chevy was fast tonight. I just tried to do what I needed to do. Stay up front, and stay up front. And got me a couple good stage finishes and got me good seconds. So I'm definitely proud with what went on tonight. I did the best that I could, if you can't win, at least seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can't win, you want to be second. This 44 had a bit of a rough race here tonight to kick off this championship 8, but to come away with second place, that's huge, man.
Yeah, I mean, I was in a couple of situations, I guess you would call them, and like little or no damage until that one big one. That one big one took me out. I had to pull in, use my fast repair, and last part of the race there, I was running on no fast repair. Actually, I think before the end of that second stage, I was running with no fast repair. So, but you can't hold back. I mean, you got to get back up there. You got to try to get as many points per stage. You got to get as many points for each stage, and then you got to get up there and stay up there for a good finish. And I mean, being 08 track position is pretty big here. So just trying to stick it up front. I mean, we were squeezing every ounce of fuel out of it that run. I would have probably ran out 400 or 500 feet past the line. I mean, we were all so close. So Kody ran out a little bit before us, caused a little bit of a mess, but still brought it home second. So I'll definitely take it, KR.
Well, man, a solid second place run. And we know you're here because Logan Helton gave his spot up to you. You're running his paint schemes. And this 44, for sure, like I said when I started this off, riding off of pure determination and a solid second place run here. Now everyone knows that Kody Neagles is our first driver locked in, but Anthony English, well, holy cow, he has a good points advantage over the rest of us.
Yeah, it's looking good. I mean, I can't sleep on it though. I mean, I got to do the same thing next week. I got to get out here, still got to get points, and do the best I can and pull off a W possibly if I have to. I got to do what you got to do. But yeah, great job for first night, and I'm trying to do Logan and him and proud for what he did and everything. And we barely squeaked into the round of 8. I mean, it was a 3-way tie for that final spot, and just barely squeaked in for this round. So I'm trying to make sure I'm not in that kind of situation going into next week.
Well, Anthony, I think you have done the 44 proud. I think you have done the Logan Helton fans proud by carrying his paint schemes. And I think we will see you in the championship 4. I don't want to curse you for next week, but holy cow, I think you have done everything you need to do so far.
Well, gotta put another solid weekend though. There's anything can happen. You know how that is. Anything can happen. So yeah, I just gotta put in a solid week next week.
All right, man. Shout outs, thank yous. Anything else you need to add?
Oh, first off, Dawson and KR, you both up in the booth. You guys do an awesome job week in, week out. We love you guys up there. Looking forward to having you back for next season too. That's awesome. Hope I'm not jumping the gun or anything, but yeah, all the guys at Vendetta, Richard Sanchez, he was pushing there really hard at the end. We had a really good shot for that win, so big shout out to him. Rest of my teammates, Matty Wag and Adam Kilday, everybody out there watching who tuned in, who's checking into it, and my family and friends, and my beautiful girlfriend who lets me do this all the time.
All right, man. Well, nice job. Congratulations on this solid second place finish here tonight.
All right, thank you, KR. You guys have a good one.
All right, there you have it. Anthony English, as I just moved him in as he tried to say something else. Dawson, I don't know where he was going.
I don't know either. And I guess we'll have to find out if we get to talk to him next week. Maybe we'll get to ask him.
Maybe. All right, Dawson, you ready for our third step of the podium?
Yeah, let's fire away.
All right, here we go. We're going to talk to the third step of the podium, and that is the driver of the 23, Dawson. That's all you, bud.
Well, you've got him in the wrong spot, but I'll
Oh,
Try to get him
sorry.
in here.
Hold on.
Hang on. I got it. I think. There he is. I could do this. I could do this too, KR, every now and then.
I know.
Only every now and then. I'm learning from you. Anyway, I'm caught up with our third place driver, Sebastian Marin. Seabass, you got us up here in the booth?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, you guys come home first and third there. Obviously, your teammate locks into the Final Four, but you have a heck of a night yourself, some stage points, and a great finish. Kind of take us through how you're feeling after a third place effort and the points that you gathered here tonight.
Yeah, feeling pretty good. Obviously, locking in my teammate Kody there into the Final Four. Got myself some pretty decent stage points. I think probably the most out of all the playoff drivers. And finished third there. So yeah, I feel not safe, but I feel pretty comfortable with the points that I gathered and the cushion that I'll have to the cut line. But we know how fast that thing can those points can swing. So I still have to be there the next 2 weeks, or next week. I don't know if it's 2 races or just one more. So I still gotta get stage points. Can't really play too defensive because some of the other drivers can have a good a night as I did, and my point cushion will be gone. So yeah, overall a good night. A little unfortunate there with. I knew we were gonna cut it close, especially being in the middle that whole run. If we had been in the bottom for a couple laps, the fuel issue would have been a bit better. But I knew that the potential was there to run out of fuel, and that's what happened entering the trial. So we said over chat that that it wasn't that Kody turned left or I hooked him. It's that he sputtered, and I just pushed through him essentially. And we're coming to the checkered at that point. I can't really afford to lift, so I feel bad, of course, for Anthony and those guys. Obviously, he still got second, but he's gonna be disappointed because he probably, with Kody running out, he probably had that race won. So I feel a little bad, but that's how racing goes. I've had that same situation happen to me and Kody on previous races. So at some point it was bound to happen to somebody else and to us. It'll probably happen again. So definitely want to apologize to Anthony for that. But overall, a good night, and hopefully I can get locked in as well, and we'll have a pretty good shot here at Dale Cup to win the championship.
Well, absolutely. And going into next week, and it is only just the one race here left in the round of 8. So we go into next week, you're going to have a nice points buffer, but you did say it can swing at any point. And after the great season that you've had, we've seen you have one of the better seasons here among the Monday night drivers. How much pressure are you feeling going into next week, knowing that this season, it pretty much hinges on making the Final Four? A season like this kind of justifies being in the championship four. So how much pressure are you feeling going into next week?
Not huge amount of pressure, but like you said, people kind of expect me to be in the Final Four. So if I don't make it, it would be a big surprise and kind of a letdown. But so yeah, to answer your question, maybe a little bit of pressure, but I don't really let it get to me because it's not that I don't take it serious, but I don't take it to heart. So again, I definitely want to make it. I'd definitely be very upset if I don't, but I don't feel a lot of pressure. I'm not going to let that get to me because, that could start playing in your head and, get you unfocused, and maybe you start making mistakes here and there. So don't want to be thinking about that. Just want to focus on next week and making it through, and then try to get a championship for our team.
Absolutely, and a third place effort certainly puts you in a good spot for that. So while we have you here up here for a second, anybody want to thank or shout out after that third place effort?
Yeah, shout out to Kody for getting it done there and locking himself into the Final Four. That's huge. Hopefully I can get myself locked in. Shout out to Vicente, again, running with us, for showing up, and for Peter, who he decided to run with us. Obviously had an atrocious race, so unfortunate for him. Hopefully if he does run with us again next week, we can help him, because he might be in a must win, if not very, very close to a must win. So shout out to them, and shout out to you guys for doing this broadcast, and you guys do an incredible job covering these races, and you guys make it fun in the booth. You guys know what you're talking about. Having a driver here, Dawson, in the booth helps give perspective throughout the race. So shout out to you guys and shout out to OP. It's been a great season. These trucks have been great. And so maybe I'll be here next season. Who knows? Depending on what vehicles they decide to go with. So here's to the next week and then the final race to decide the championship.
All right, well, congrats on that third place effort. It was a great night for you. We'll see if you can get the job done and lock into the Final Four next week. Go enjoy it with the teammates, and we'll see you then.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Have a good night.
All right, that is Sebastian Marin, driver of the 23, getting it done on the third and final step of the podium here tonight. So, Dawson, what do you say we go through the rest of our results here tonight? As I pull that up, we talked to our top three: Kody Neagles, Anthony English, Sebastian Marin. Richard Sanchez came out fourth, and Kacey Gilchrist, championship contender, rounds out the top five.
John Guerra finishes in sixth. It's a nice comeback for Zach Fritsch. He finishes in the seventh position. Les Levy in eighth, David Overstreet in ninth, and Matt Wagner rounds out the top 10.
Zach Workman in 11th, Alex Green 12th, 13th, Josh Ball, Adam Kilday 14th, and Richard Kuhn in 15th.
16th will be Vicente Guerrero tonight. Sean McCara in 17th, Eric Laurie in 18th, Nate Warren in 19th, and Bubba Winningham in 20th. And I'll just go ahead and finish it out. It's only three more trucks. Brian Wang finishes 21st tonight. Peter deBorja, we covered his situation. He's probably going to be in a must-win next week. He finishes 22nd, and Jimmy Reynolds rounds out our 23 truck field tonight.
All right, with all of that being said, guys, thank you very much for joining us here tonight. I do hope you enjoyed the show. Peter has some work to do for sure, but he is not the only one that is digging out of a hole. And Dawson, I look forward to calling your race in 2 days here on Wednesday night. So with that being said, Dawson, why don't you sign us out, bud?
Yeah, absolutely. It was another great race tonight. We got our first Final Four driver in the form of Kody Neagles. What a moment it is for him to get his first win of the season tonight. And it certainly turns the playoffs on its head just a little bit. Going into next week's cutoff race, only 2 races left in this Monday season, man. It's a little bit hard to believe. We're almost to the end of it already. But we're only 2 races from the end. We will be crowned a champion in 2 weeks. Obviously, like you said, glad to be back on the track on Wednesday night. Everybody should come check out that race. That's going to be a fun race. Last race in the round of 8. It'll be Next Gens, I believe, at Daytona. So we're going to find out the rest of our Final Four there as well. And I'm going to be glad to be back on the racetrack. That's been a fun time also. But until then, for KR Stolfus, my partner in crime up here, my name's been Dawson Wise. You've been watching the Turn 3 Racing Network. Good night, everybody, and we will see you back here on Wednesday.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.